On the news tonight, lifts the suspension on the constitution of Burkina Faso. This directive is coming from the authority of the heads of state and government of ECOWAS. 7,400 trainees to benefit from the first phase of the National Power Sector Apprenticeship. 2,400 students from the states under emergency rule to be relocated to the federal unity colleges across the country. And Women for Change and Development Initiative empowers more women in Kwara State. A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us for NTA Network News. I am Elizabeth Banu. Heads of state and government of ECOWAS have called for immediate lifting of the suspension of the constitution of Burkina Faso so as to allow the Constitutional Council to declare the power vacant. This formed part of the resolutions at the end of the consultations with all stakeholders in Burkina Faso facilitated by ECOWAS. State House correspondent Segun Laoli reports.
Of international community comprising representatives of the United Nations, the African Union and ECOWAS has been holding consultations with stakeholders on the political crisis in Burkina Faso since the 30th of October when the government of Blaise Compaoré was dissolved. Consultations with various groups by the ECOWAS Special Delegation headed by President John Mahama of Ghana was to find a way forward in restoring the country to the path of democracy. At the end of the wide consultations with the civil society, religious and traditional rulers, political actors, and the military authority, the meeting agreed in a communique read by the ECOWAS President Kadi Quadrego that the suspension of the country's constitution be lifted so as to pave way for the interim administration and the composition of the Transitional Council to be headed by a civilian interim president. The chairman, ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, President John Mahama, appealed to all stakeholders to respect the decisions taken and embrace peace.
And so, as much as we feel hurt, we cannot achieve a unilateral outcome if it doesn't embrace all members of Burkina society. And so, please, as chairman of ECOWAS, I enjoin you that you drop your personal pain and hurt and embrace each other as brothers and sisters, in order that whatever decisions that we take in respect of Burkina Faso's transition and the eventual elections that will install a substantive president and a new assembly will be done on a sustainable basis without excluding anybody.
The meeting also resolved that the interim administration be run for 1 year and put in motion the process of conducting a credible election in November 2015. The joint team and stakeholders are to work out the structure and composition of the transitional government to ensure proper transition. From Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, Segun Laoli, NTA News.
In another development, heads of state and government of ECOWAS have converged on Accra, the Ghanaian capital, to find a common solution to the issue of Ebola pandemic, which has claimed up to 4,951 lives. The extraordinary summit, convened by the chairman of the Authority of Heads of State, John Mahama of Ghana, also considered and adopted the ministerial report on coordinated committee on the update of the situation of the affected countries. Cordelia Okwama reports that the current political situation in Burkina Faso was also on the agenda. A total of 8 presidents attended, while the other 7 were either represented by their vice presidents, as in the case of Nigeria, or by their ministers. Burkina Faso was represented by the country's ambassador to Ghana. Other stakeholders like WHO, United Nations, and the African Union also attended the one-day meeting. President Goodluck Jonathan has approved the enlistment of 7,400 trainees under the first phase of the National Power Sector Apprenticeship, NAPSAS. This was in a message to the flag-off of the ceremony in Abuja. Correspondent Mia Ogide reports that the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Ayim Pius Ayim, represented the President.
The National Power Sector Apprenticeship Scheme is designed to provide youths with the technical skills needed to effectively manage the country's power sector. The scheme, which has a 6 months duration, is categorized into 4 batches of 2 years. President Goodluck Jonathan decried the skills deficit occasioned by the lack of recruitment into the sector in the last 20 years.
I believe that this scheme will provide skilled manpower that the GENCOs, DISCOs, and TCN can build on to underpin their growth programs that are awaited anxiously by Nigerians. The skill gap in the power sector will gradually close as the trained youths assume their roles in their respective professions.
Goodwill messages focused on the need for state governments to build the nation's human capital by developing programs that address peculiar needs and challenges in their domain.
We align ourselves with the vision identified by the Ministry of Power in terms of empowering our youth in this regard. We have the human capital, we have the initiative, and we have the intellect.
In Abuja, Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
7th Division of the Nigerian Army has handed over to the Borno State government 42 suspected members of the Boko Haram sect who have been investigated and found to be innocent. Army Public Relations Officer of the 7th Division, Colonel Sani Usman, handed them over to Governor Kashim Shettima at the council chambers of the Government House, Maiduguri. We'll bring you details in our subsequent bulletin. A renowned Islamic scholar, Sheikh Mohammed Adamu Misra, and some of his followers have been confirmed dead following the attack by unknown gunmen in Nafada town and Ashaka Cement Company in Gombe State. Correspondent Lukman Abubakar and Zara Umar put together the report.
Allahu Akbar.
A mammoth crowd, including government officials, gathered for the funeral prayer of the late Sheikh Mohammed Adamu Misra and 4 of his close associates shot dead by the unknown gunmen. After terminating the lives of the 74-year-old cleric and his people, the unknown gunmen were said to have set ablaze the Nafada Police Station, office of a microfinance bank, and PDP secretariat.
We are quite very shocked. Everybody in the Nafada local government has been very shocked.
From Nafada town, the attackers headed to the nearby Ashaka Cement Company. A security officer in the company, who spoke off camera and would not want his name mentioned, told us that the gunmen shot dead 2 people, a security personnel and a civilian. He said the attackers also carted away with 5 pickup vans and 60 operational explosives belonging to the cement company. As at the time of filing this report, the cement giant has shut down its, while the Ashaka town remained deserted except for the few people that are beginning to return from where they fled to during the attack. Confirming the incident, Police Public Relations Officer Fwaja Tajiri said 3 people died in the process. Meanwhile, public and private schools in Gombe State have closed for the meantime for security reasons.
Meanwhile, 2,400 students from the 3 emergency states are to be relocated to Federal Unity Colleges. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, stated this at the 3rd Steering Committee meeting of Safe Schools Initiative in Abuja. Franca Uzoma Olwa reports.
The abduction of more than 200 students of Government Girls Secondary School Chibok in Borno State led to the launch of the Safe School Initiative in Nigeria. A steering committee was also set up to monitor implementation.
It is a purely voluntary program. Parents who like their children to go to unity schools in other parts of the country have made themselves known, and this initiative is going to support the commencement of studies of those children in those schools.
With an initial cost of 435 million naira, scholarship has been awarded to the students with free learning materials and stipend for their parents.
What we want to achieve at the end of the day is what started out as a bad experience they are going to use for good.
In Borno State, all the schools are closed, and the schools have been being allocated for the ITPs to be there. And recently we have had another course to transfer some of our people from Adamawa State, those that are around Goza, Askirauba, and other local government around the Adamawa State boundary. So they are moved down to Borno.
Representative of the Adamawa State government comments on this current security situation in the state.
A lot of rumors have been going around. It does not necessarily mean that people are running from those places. And I think from Yola in particular, Yola is intact. There is no problem in Yola. What we have in Yola is just we are overwhelmed with the displaced persons.
So far, the committee has received cash donations from many countries, donor agencies, and the UN family. In Abuja, Franca Uzoma Olua, NTA News.
Kwara State women took their turn to enjoy the benevolence of Nigeria's First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan's non-governmental organization, Women for Change and Development Initiative, with the distribution of empowerment materials. The beneficiaries were drawn from all the local government areas of the state. Speaking at the distribution of the materials, the First Lady said the empowerment program was a continuation of her contribution to poverty alleviation, which is a cardinal objective of the transformation agenda of President Goodluck Jonathan. Dame Patience Jonathan said Nigerian women remain indebted to President Jonathan for being trustworthy and keeping his promise to give them 35% positions in his administration.
Mr. President has done his own. It's our time to do our own. We Nigerian women could not have had it better. Jonathan is the answer. And PDP is a party.
Wife of Kwara State Governor Omolewa Ahmed, joined by her counterparts from Kogi, Benue, and Cross River states, commended the First Lady for siding with the less privileged and putting women empowerment on the front burner. The Minister of National Planning, Dr. Abubakar Suleiman, businesswoman Bola Shagaya, and other prominent Kwara indigents declared support for President Goodluck Jonathan.
Is on ground in Kwara State. You have seen that by next year, inshallah, Kwara State will be for Mr. President. You have seen that indeed, without renting crowd, Kwaras are good luck. Good luck is Kwara.
We in Kwara State, therefore, assuring Your Excellency of our firm commitment and loyalty to Mr. President because of his policy of rising and socio-economic status of all Nigerians under the atmosphere of justice and fairness to all.
In another development, First Lady Dame Patience Jonathan has called women lawyers in Nigeria to push for the passage of the 35% affirmative action into law. Dame Patience Jonathan threw the challenge at a dinner to mark 50 years of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, in Nigeria. State House correspondent Markut Simon Macham reports.
Established in 1964 in Nigeria, FIDA, the body of women lawyers, has impacted the legal profession and the society by highlighting challenges confronting women and working to find solutions, particularly in legal situations. Marking 50 years therefore provided them an opportunity to host Nigeria's First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, whose aspirations are similar to the ones championed by FIDA in the areas of women empowerment, promoting women's rights and that of children and the underprivileged, as well as charity. She commended them for their efforts so far and appealed to them to use their position as lawyers to push for legislation of affirmative action.
We thank the current administration of His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for keeping to his promise of effective implementation of the 35% affirmative action.
The First Lady's challenge was re-echoed by the chairman of the occasion, Professor Jerry Gana.
When you are giving power, that power must be utilized effectively in the interest of the people. It must translate into good leadership.
To this challenge, the country president of FIDA, Hawa Shekarau, promised that FIDA will work with the First Lady on this and other legislations, such as the Bill on Violence Against Women pending at the National Assembly.
2015 is already beckoning. I want to be believe that our mother will ensure that we have 50% this time around.
Goodwill messages from the Nigerian Bar Association, the Nigerian Police and other guests celebrated FIDA for 50 years of impact, while First Lady Dame Patience Jonathan was honored for her support to the body and Nigerian women as a whole. Past leaders of FIDA also received awards. In Abuja, I am Makut Simon Machan, NTA News.
Ahead on the news tonight, more aspirants pick nomination forms, say service to humanity is their overriding interest. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
From the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Change is never easy. It was not easy for Dr. Martin Luther King when Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew transformed Singapore from third world to first world. It was not easy. They stoned him. It was not easy for Nelson Mandela.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
It was not easy for Barack Obama. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Dr. Martin Luther King did it. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew did it. Nelson Mandela did it. Barack Obama did it. Goodluck Jonathan is doing it. He is transforming Nigeria. Mr. President, keep doing it. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Professor. My former students. Happy birthday to you.
Every day, life is made better by the moments of surprise we create for others and for ourselves. Be better. Surprise someone this season and make sure to text 11 to 400 to get a surprise from MTN. MTN, everywhere you go.
The Dettol and Ministry of Health team is visiting schools to teach children how to protect themselves from diseases.
Do you know what germs are? They are tiny, harmful, living things that you pick up from dirty surfaces. These germs can make you ill and prevent you from doing all the things you like to do with friends. That's why you need to fight them by washing your hands regularly with Dettol soap.
Mom, today we learned how to fight germs with Dettol soap.
The most exciting event of the year is here. 42 years ago, God spoke to a man, go take my word to the world. It's Jubilee World Festival. Team Talita Kumi, Arise 2015. Speakers Bishop Wayne Malcolm from UK, Bishop John Francis from UK, Pastor Philip Thomas from UK, Pastor Jonathan Miller from USA, Dr. Felisa Mobode from Benin, Nigeria, Bishop Mike Okonkwo from Lagos, Nigeria. Music by Frank Edward from Lagos, Lara George from Lagos, Sonny Badu, UK, Fashion Michelle, USA, Gospel Melody Voices, Milk and Honey Choir, and others. Chief host Papa Ayo and Mama Helen Orisha Jaffo. Date Sunday the 9th to Sunday the 16th of November 2014. Time 3 p.m. daily. On Sundays 8 a.m. one service. Venue the prestigious auditorium of Word of Life Bible Church, International Gospel Center at Jami Mogawari, Delta State, Nigeria. No matter your Talit Takomi, arise.
Federal Ministry of Works, in conjunction with the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, is assiduously driving the federal government transformation agenda in the roads sector. Several arterial federal roads have been constructed and rehabilitated, while many others are undergoing dualization, amongst which are Kano Maiduguri Road, Sokoto Tambuwal, Abuja Lokoja Benin Expressway, Vom Manchok, Loko Oweto Road, Benin Ore Shagamu Lagos Expressway, Lagos Ibadan Road, Ibadan Ilorin, Abakaliki Mpo Ogoja Junction Road, Aba Owerri Road, Enugu Port Harcourt Dual Carriageway, It is strategically replacing damaged grid guardrails with reinforced concrete and new jersey rails, as well as illuminating critical sections of selected federal roads and bridges. And over 7,000 young men and women in the Shuapi FEMA Public Works Program, FEMA, is poised to ensure quicker, cheaper, and safer road transportation. Federal Ministry of Works and FEMA, moving Nigerians on good roads.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Chief Godswill Akpabio, CON, the government and the good people of Akwa Ibom State welcome you to the commissioning ceremony of the ultra-modern Akwa Ibom International Stadium. Join us as we welcome Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, President of Nigeria, Dr. John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Alassane Ouattara, President of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, world football legend Pele of Brazil, Dr. Issa Hayatou, the President of CAF, and other international icons to Uyo on Friday, November 7, 2014 by 3 p.m. Come and witness as the Super Eagles face the Black Stars of Ghana in an international friendly at Africa's most prestigious sporting edifice, the Nest of Champions. Akwa Ibom International Stadium, Uyo, be there.
Sheyi Makinde, stimulating attitudinal changes and initiating radical thinking. Sheyi Makinde, the man of his words, an achiever per excellence, imbibing public confidence and enlist mass participation in governance. Sheyi Makinde, a philanthropist, driving a collective vision of a people of your state in a unique way. Sheyi Makinde, a man of the people and a silent achiever. Sheyi Makinde can be trusted to do more.
We will change the future of our state for the better.
Sheyi Makinde, the man for change.
No one knows cool like Higher Thermal Cool. And with Higher Thermal Cool air conditioners, you can stay cool however hot you become. Higher Thermal Cool.
The Pan-African Parliament has challenged African youths to contribute their quota towards the sustenance of peace, stability and economic advancement on the African continent. President of the Parliament, Bethel Amadi, gave the challenge in South Africa while receiving an award of excellence in legislation. Correspondent Kene Imabodike reports.
Receiving the Africa Coaching Excellence Award of Master Mentor in Legislation, an elated Bethel Amadi remarked that African youths are endowed with unique talents and abilities which could turn the fortunes of the continent for the better if properly harnessed. The legislator, who represents Mbitoli Ikeduru constituency in the Federal House of Representatives, admonished the youth to rise above distractions that could hinder the collective struggle for a better Africa, reminding them that the future of the continent will be determined by their efforts at complementing the roles of today's leaders.
And I want to urge all of you here today who believe that your voice cannot be heard, who believe that you cannot make a meaningful contribution from where you stand. I want to challenge you that you can play a major role in changing the history and the fortunes of our continent, that the time to do it is now, and that we must all work together to begin to build institutions that will ensure that the future of the generations yet unborn is better than we have had today.
ArcelorMittal is a global organization which is committed to developing young talents for leadership roles in all spheres of life. In Midrand, South Africa, Kenen Ima Abodike, NTA News.
Back home on the political scene, the People's Democratic Party governorship aspirants have expressed hope that the party leadership will allow transparent primaries prevail to enable them support whoever emerges as the PDP standard bearer. These were the views of the aspirants shortly after submitting their forms at the PDP National Secretariat in Abuja. Political correspondent Femi Johnson reports.
November 29th will no doubt be another day of reckoning for the PDP aspirants as they look forward to being the party's standard bearer in their state when the primaries hold. While submitting their nomination form and expression of interest, they express optimism that the party leadership will live up to the promise of internal democracy. To them, it is time to consolidate on PDP's manifesto and transformation agenda.
I want to bring motivation back. I want to bring people's skill back. I want to bring all the skills that I have acquired through my years in Chevron.
I will want to consolidate and continue with the laudable programs of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Katsina State.
The time has come for us to turn a new leaf, to begin to build River State.
Whoever that emerges, we shall all work together to support the person in order to make sure that PDP takes the breakouts come 2015.
Other aspirants also say their pedigree is an added advantage to their aspirations. As such, qualitative leadership should be anticipated.
I can assure the party that I'm prepared and ready to lead the people of Sokoto State to salvation, to ensure that Sokoto State is back to the center of Nigerian politics where it belongs.
What we are hoping is to get our own mandate through the people of Katsina State. That is the most important thing, is to be endorsed by the people.
This time again, all the promises I had made then, of course, with the experience of being a current senator now, they should be expecting great deeds from me.
The sale of nomination forms ends in the next 24 hours, barring any change by the leadership of the PDP. In Abuja, Femi Johnson, NTA News.
And former Speaker of Delta State House of Assembly, Chief Victor Ochie, has promised to provide qualitative leadership that will meet the yearnings of the people of the state if given the PDP governorship ticket. He stated this while submitting his nomination and expression of interest forms at the party secretariat in Abuja. Here again is Femi Johnson.
The former speaker, who was accompanied by supporters and those who believed in his aspirations, says, as an engineer by training, businessman by profession, philanthropist by nature, and politician by calling, he is prepared to improve on the legacies achieved by previous administration.
A leadership that will foster greater hope that Deltans will be very proud of. That I can assure by the grace of God.
While submitting his nomination form, he called on PDP members in Delta State to give him the mandate, having served the party with all dedication and loyalty.
There's only one way forward, and that's going forward. My expectation is to win by the grace of God, and win convincingly.
He's a man who has demonstrated leadership qualities that are impeccable. He's tested and he's trusted.
He's a bridge between the young and the old. He's a man who can move Delta State forward, and he believes in playing by the rules.
Victor Ochie is the first member from Aniocha North to be re-elected and also to serve a third term in the Delta State Legislature. In Abuja, Femi Johnson, NTA News.
Son of the former Premier of Nigeria, Jalil Tafawa Balewa, has formally withdrawn from the 2015 presidential race. Dr. Jalil announced his withdrawal at a news briefing organized by elder statesman Chief Edwin Clark. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
Avenue for elder statesman Edwin Clark to offer what he considered essential to provide balm to soothe the fragile nerves of agitators in the interest of national unity. The main issue of concern was the report of 7 governors given automatic tickets by the PDP leadership to go to the Senate. This, which he says, contradicts the party decision in which only the president has the right of first refusal.
It's not for you to impose your will yourself on the people, or wanting to nominate someone because you don't like the face of the senator to replace him.
Also, the former withdrawal of aspiration by the son of the former premier of the country, Jalil Tafawa Balewa, was received with joy and embrace as he agrees to support and work together with President Goodluck Jonathan.
What Daddy said is very true.
In effect, that decision clearly shows that President Goodluck Jonathan is performing.
Chief Clark charged all Nigerians to do everything to ensure the preservation and deepening of democratic practice and to put to a total stop what he described as kangaroo democracy being practiced by some governors. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Still on the presidential nomination form, all aspirants seeking the presidential ticket of the All Progressives Congress (APC) have pledged to work towards a rancor-free primaries for the party to win the general election in 2015. One of the aspirants, Mr. Sam Nda Isaiah, stated this when he picked his nomination form at the APC National Secretariat in Abuja. Correspondent Abdullah Garba reports.
Mr. Sam Nda Isaiah is among the 5 aspirants who have declared interest to seek for the APC presidential ticket. He says the aspirants are working together in the interest of the party.
Especially we that are contesting for the presidency, we are going to work by the rules. We are going to ensure that it comes out well, without any rancor.
The APC national chairman restated the party's commitment to ensure a level playing field for all.
Each and every one of you capable of giving this nation the kind of direction that it so badly needs. Each of you capable of providing leadership that inspires.
In Katsina, it was a mega rally held by General Muhammad Buhari to sensitize voters on the need to come out and participate in the continuous voters registration by INEC. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, more gubernatorial aspirants have declared interest to contest governorship election on the platform of the APC. Abdullahi Garba Kudu again compiled this report.
A report from Kaduna says the former Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, has declared his interest to contest the governorship election in Kaduna State. It was at the rally in Kaduna where he pledged to replicate his achievements as the then FCT minister.
What Kaduna needs are better schools, health facilities and productive farms in an atmosphere of improved peace and security.
And the APC governorship aspirant in Niger State, Abubakar Sani Bello, says the desire to improve the living condition of the people is the driving force for his gubernatorial ambition. The APC aspirant was speaking after obtaining his expression of interest and nomination forms at the state's All Progressives Congress Secretariat in Mina.
The only way you can support us and help us is when you have the mandate to vote.
Kwara State also hosted the chieftains of the APC in solidarity with Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmad, who declared his interest to seek re-election. He recalled his achievements, including the creation of more than 10,000 jobs to the youth in the state. For Umaru Tanko Al-Makura, his concern is for the people of Nasarawa State to continue to maintain peace as they urge him to recontest the election. He says his achievements speak for him.
Where peace will reign supreme, where prosperity will be in every home.
The race to the Sokoto Government House on the APC platform begins as Senator Umaru Dahiru Tambuwal also picked the nomination form to contest.
Our current government has done very well for the state, and my intention is to build on and carry on what he has actually achieved so far.
In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
And for more aspirants signifying interest in the 2015 general elections, let's join Demola in our Lagos Network Center for details. Over to you, Demola.
Has submitted his expression of interest form at the PDP Secretariat in Asaba Delta State. He was accompanied by supporters and party faithful to the party secretariat.
The one-time Commissioner of Works in Delta State told the supporters that his interest
We'll get back to Lagos in the course of the bulletin. Moving on now, Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, gets laboratory accreditation from international body. Details of this and more with Vivian Idekpefo on our business news.
Thank you for joining us on Business News tonight. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Olusegun Aganga, has described the approval of Standard Organizations of Nigeria Food Laboratory by the International Laboratory Accreditation Corporation, ILAC, as historic and good news to all exporters in Nigeria's non-oil sector. The minister made the remark while unveiling the certificate in Abuja. He said with this feat, Nigeria has commenced the journey of diversification from a mono economy.
This is another evidence of the progress we have made in standard only in 3 years. So we have commenced that journey of economic and revenue diversification 3 years ago. So we'll get there quicker than most people think because we are on target on that.
All our goods now go straight into the market, no reject.
We can conveniently and confidently export our products to anywhere in the world. And once that product has been certified by any of these two labs, nobody can query the test results of our certification. So at the end of the day, Nigeria is making more money and Nigeria is also saving more money.
The SON Food Technology Laboratories is the only accredited laboratory to ISO 17025 in Nigeria in microbiology testing, proximate analysis, and heavy metals. The equities market Thursday closed on a negative note as the all-share index depreciated by 4.07% to close at 34,494.93 basis points. Here is a summary of activities on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. That concludes Business News Tonight. Elizabeth has the rest of the bulletin. Good evening.
Thank you, Vivian. Let's now rejoin Demola in Lagos with more reports on Network News. Demola, it's over to you now.
Welcome back again. A senatorial hopeful, Paul Osaji, has submitted his expression of interest form at the PDP Secretariat in Asaba Delta State. He was accompanied by supporters and party faithful to the party secretariat.
The one-time Commissioner of Works in Delta State told the supporters that his interest to represent them was out of his passion to provide them the much-expected dividends of democracy. He outlined his achievement as member of the Delta State Executive Council, which he said touched the lives of the people of the state, reiterating that more development will come their way if they elect him to the Senate.
I will do all within my capacity, my ability, and considering that I have massive experience in infrastructure development and environmental issues, and above all, in general administration. What experience I have is what is germane at this particular time. What is needed is the material thing that is required. And I believe that I have all both local and international contacts to be able to bring robustly great progress and things that will move Delta states and Delta North in particular forward.
Some of his supporters urged the people of Delta North to ensure that they elect Mr. Paul Osaji to represent them at the National Assembly.
Paul will be the best of the best as far as this senatorial district is concerned.
Mr. Paul Osaji was accompanied to the PDP Secretariat in Delta State by some of his supporters.
As the 2015 general elections draw closer, some youths in Abia State have called on politicians to play by the rules to ensure peaceful polls across the country. The youths made the call while clamoring for Dr. Uchechukwu Samson Oga to join the 2015 gubernatorial race under the platform of the PDP. The report.
The gathering tagged A New Dawn in Abia State witnessed the convergence of youths from various parts of the state rallying support for the candidature of Dr. Uchechukwu Samson Oga under the platform of PDP for the 2015 governorship election. The group under the leadership of Chukwuemeka Mba called on the chieftains of the People's Democratic Party to ensure that only credible candidates in the likes of Dr. Oga emerge as the party's flag bearers in the forthcoming primaries. The youths emphasized that a level playing field that will guarantee the dividends of democracy should be provided by the political class in Abia State.
Air supplies remains a strategic tool in the success of military operations and other national emergencies. That is why the Nigerian Air Force takes maintenance of its fleet as a matter of top priority. As the 2015 election draws nearer, the need for the Nigerian Air Force to support an effective supply of election materials has been emphasized. This informed the Air Force conducting sea checks on a series of C-130 jets. One of the C-130, which underwent the sea checks, was unveiled at the Air Force Base in Lagos.
Sea check is a major maintenance practice carried out on aircrafts to ensure optimum performance of its engines and other vital components, which is also a panacea for safe operations. But of importance is the fact that the sea checks on these aircraft was carried out in Nigeria, which in the past was done abroad. This air officer commanding the Logistics Command, Air Vice Marshal Olutayo Oguntoyinbo, who represented the Chief of the Air Staff, says is a milestone achievement. Now, the C-130 jets are ready to provide the needed support to a free and fair elections come 2015.
This is an addition to our preparation towards the build-up for 2015. As the politicians were doing their own business, we in the Air Force were also preparing. So we are very ready, we are poised to assist in whichever way the government asks us.
With this development, it appears the Nigerian Air Force is repositioned to discharge effectively its statutory responsibilities. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Airtel, always on with destination news. Airtel Internet, the smartest network for your smartphone. Dial star 401 hash to activate.
There are those that want to divide Nigeria, to take us back to another time. But the future belongs to you, and the better future is the one we are building together. Together we have built the largest economy in Africa. And now we must lift up every Nigerian child, strengthen education in every corner of the country, keep building the infrastructure of a modern society, the roads that bring commerce, the energy and water and prosperity to lift up every family. So, to those that want to divide Nigeria, we say the future is hard work, but we are building it together. We can't go back. The future belongs to us. Good luck, Jonathan. One Nigeria, moving forward together.
Negotiations out of this funk. Something needs to happen right now.
Come on to Tapel, one day go, Mr. Flavor, hey. Come on to Tapel, one day go, Mr. Flavor, hey.
Glow Collar Tunes. To get Wake Up by Flavor featuring One Day Code, text 300 to 7728. New and exclusive on Glow Collar Tunes. Tune costs 50 naira only.
Glow Unlimited. Africa. Some see it as a land of challenges. We see it as a land of endless opportunities, where success comes from hard work and determination, and having a strong partner. Boxer, engineered to be stronger, engineered to last longer, because to make it in Africa, you need to be stronger for longer. Boxer, made stronger to last longer.
I need a great deal, the best price I can get. That's why I shop on Jumia.
Quality you can trust. You can count on us.
Nationwide delivery.
We make shopping easier. National delivery. When you shop on Jumia, when the rain or shine.
Get the incredible Angel smartphones starting from 13,999 naira at jumia.com.ng. Jumia, the online shop you can trust.
22 artists, 44 collaborations, 5 countries, 9 episodes.
Coke Studio, baby.
Catch Coke Studio Africa Season 2 every Saturday from the 13th of September at 7 p.m. on AIT.
Auntie!
Hello, my dear. I see you went shopping with your mom, right? And what did you buy?
Power oil. It has 0 cholesterol and 0 trans fats. And contains vitamin A and natural vitamin E. It's a healthy oil for a healthy family.
I'll buy Power Oil next time I go shopping, huh?
Power Oil, healthy for you.
Johnny S5.5, the slimmest in the world. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved.
Nigeria's rich culture was on display at the World Travel and Tourism Market holding in London. Correspondent Oyinaya Kaluoka has details.
The Nigerian Day was fascinating as traditional food, attire, textile and music were displayed to the admiration of all.
The Nigerian Day started with a World Press Conference where the Director General NTA Salim Banefo, alongside the Ghanaian Minister of Tourism Elizabeth Ofosu Adjire and representative from the Senegalese Tourism Board, Homan Mbaye, projected the tourism potential endowed in Africa and condemned the negative image foreign media paint about Africa. Ranging from the variety of cuisine, the making of the colorful adire from Abeokuta, Ogun State, which was amazing to tourists and exhibitors.
Something very traditional.
The rich cultural dance displayed from different parts of the country and their costumes were fascinating.
And your culture is the best.
Very interesting, very lively.
The way Nigeria has been marketed and showcased across the world would go a long way in supporting the transformation agenda of the current administration.
We have everything and every reason to celebrate. We have a government that is focused on making Nigeria the leading African tourism organization country in the world today.
The Nigerian stand was said to be the most visited by tourists. From London, Oyinaya Kaluoka, NTA News.
Showcasing Nigeria's rich culture in London. You're watching NTA Network News. Let's join Caleb in Jos with the next story.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Welcome to Jos. The Plateau State Police Command has in the last 1 month recorded great success in curbing the activities of criminals in the state. Police Commissioner Nasiru Oki linked this to the cooperation the command received from other security agencies and members of the public. Correspondent Felicia Daliop reports that the police commissioner disclosed this while parading suspects involved in various crimes in the state. The report.
Mr. Oki explained that the command has re-strategized its operations to provide the needed security that will guarantee the protection of lives and property.
On the 9th of October 2014, the police detectives attached to the area commander Metro Jos on information apprehended one William Ezuodo, who specialized in stealing generator sets. During the month under review, one Abel Joseph, another suspect, was arrested on information too. I assure you, nearly all vehicles that are stolen from this place are recovered.
A member of the 5-man gang who specialized in snatching cars at gunpoint along Rayfield and Meango Locust roads confessed that the group has been in the act for some time now.
How many cars have you stolen?
12.
12 cars?
Yes, sir.
You sold it how much?
This depends, sir.
Where's your place of operation?
Items recovered from the suspects include 11 live ammunitions, 2 revolver pistols, 1 AK-47, 3 cartridges, an axe, a knife, and illicit drugs. Others include a Ford Focus car, 4 Toyota and 3 Honda cars, as well as 3 Meccano generators, among others. The suspects will soon be charged to court. In Jos, Felicia Dalio, NTA News.
And that's it from Jos. Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. The Federal Road Safety Commission has described as misleading the impression being created in some quarters that the Commission has been stripped of its powers to award fines to traffic offenders. The Commission drew the attention of the public to a Court of Appeal decision reinstating the powers of the Commission. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okel has details.
One Emmanuel Ofogbu had filed a case in the Federal High Court in Lagos contesting the powers of the Federal Road Safety Commission to impound his driver's license and fine him for a road traffic offense. The Federal Road Safety Commission appealed that ruling and got judgment. The Commission says it is therefore shocked to see a ruling of September being held out as a current judgment when the Court of Appeal in Lagos set it aside in October. Dr. Alex Izion argued the appeal on behalf of the FRSC.
Somebody saying Federal Road Safety had no power to impose fine, relying on the judgment of the Federal High Court of September 2014, when there's a judgment of 30th October. That is pure mischief, and that is misleading.
Called legal advisor Wole Olaniro called on the public not to be deceived into believing that the Commission has been stripped of its powers.
The decision of the High Court is subordinate to that of the Court of Appeal. So we are saying now that if the Court of Appeal has held in our favor, that is the current law. And we are appealing to the public, to motorists generally, in their own interest, to respect the law.
Now with the current position of the Court of Appeal restoring the full powers of the Federal Road Safety Commission, it is expected that sanity should again return to our streets, where motorists comply with the laws. However, a lesson must have been learned by the Federal Road Safety Commission that citizens know where to go to whenever they think their laws and their rights are being violated. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
6 new footbridges constructed for the safety of pedestrians at various locations in the Federal Capital Territory are ready for use. Correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the bridges, constructed at the cost of 720 million naira, was commissioned by the Minister of Works, Mike Onelemimin.
Pedestrian bridges are critical road infrastructure that enhance the safety of pedestrians. It is in view of the increasing cases of accidents and fatalities involving pedestrians crossing the ever-busy expressway in the FCT that the federal government, with assistance from the World Bank, constructed 6 pedestrian bridges in different parts of the FCT.
Urban program with the Federal Ministry of Work, otherwise known as the Federal Road Development Project, they committed to helping to fund reasonably the 6-number pedestrian bridges with the Federal Ministry of Work paying the counterpart.
You can see it from the data. The crash records has dropped and capacity building, and we are more visible now. Just continue to partner with the Honorable Minister through the RSDT, and we get more results.
However, despite the presence of these vital road safety components, some of the pedestrians choose to risk their lives.
Because I see people are passing here, that's why.
Bridge is good for us, but it's too far from here.
You choose to risk your life instead of using the already provided pedestrian bridge due to this?
Yeah, you are right.
At times, they are far distance from bus stop and even location where people cross the road frequently. If you look at this now, I don't know what it's meant for, because there is no entrance to Sheraton Hotel here. And if you
Though some of the pedestrians have faulted the location of some of the bridges, the Transport Secretary of the FCT said the enforcement of the use of the bridges will soon commence.
I've taken note of the vandalization of the fences that we designed and was implemented on this one. So we are coming up with very strong fence materials and enforcement.
In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
We have global tidbits and sports after this timeout. Stay with us.
Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, is to declare open the 2014 National Conference on Public Procurement, NACOP, which is being organized by the National Public Procurement Forum in partnership with heads of procurement regulatory authorities at the federal and state levels to provide national platform for procurement professionals to interact and share field experiences. Expected at the conference are state governors, members of National Assembly, ministers, secretary to the government of the Federation, and presidency officials, directors general, chief executive officers, managing directors of federal ministries, departments and agencies, heads of procurement entities at the federal and state levels, procurement practitioners, officials in public procurement cadre, amongst others. Dates 10th and 11th November 2014. Venue Congress Hall, Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. Time 9 a.m. daily. For more information and registration, visit the website or call the numbers. Conference Planning Committee and National Public Procurement Forum announcers.
Political parties in Burkina Faso agree for one-year transition plan as United States political leaders pledge to work together. These and more on Global Tidbits with Talatu Ezeriki.
Reports say Burkina Faso's political parties have agreed that the country's transition should last a year and be followed by elections in November 2015. The talks ended without a deal on who will head a transitional government as calm is restored after violent street protests that forced President Compaoré to resign last week. From Libya, Supreme Court has declared the country's elected parliament as unconstitutional, thereby deepening crisis between rival power centers. On the United States, the Senate's new Republican leader and President Barack Obama have promised to end the political crisis that has so frustrated American voters. Republicans made historic gains in the midterm elections and now control both legislative chambers. And the head of the UN mission charged with fighting Ebola is calling for more resources to defeat the disease. That is all on Global Tidbits. Talatu Ezerike, NTA News.
Talking sports now, new ultra-modern Uyo Stadium set for commissioning Friday as National Sports Commission defends the postponement of the 19th National Sports Festival. Kene Mabudike has more on sports update.
All is set for the international friendly between home-based Super Eagles and the Meteors of Ghana to mark the official commissioning of the ultra-modern stadium in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Friday. Presidents Goodluck Jonathan, John Dramani Mahama of Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire's Alassane Ouattara will grace the event. Nigerian Television Authority will transmit proceedings live beginning from 3 p.m. The National Sports Commission says the postponement of the 19th National Sports Festival to April 2015 will enable contingents to prepare adequately ahead of the zonal trials, which is scheduled for the month of March. Director General of the Commission, Wenga Elabalaya, who disclosed this to NTA Sport, said the shift in date was partly due to lack of readiness of some of the venues, as well as the Commission having many programs to battle with.
Most states, for now, are not ready, because look at what we have, invitation by membership, invitation by a number, states that comply are just less than 10. So, and we believe that's not a sign of the fact that the Commission can hold now.
World Footballer of the Year and Real Madrid forward Cristiano Ronaldo says he will work to be the best player of all time after being presented with a third European Golden Boot award. The 29-year-old received a trophy for being the joint top scorer last season in Europe, along with Luis Suarez having hit 31 goals. With Sports Update, Kenei Mabodike, NTA News.
Let's take a look at the weather picture across the country. And just before we go, remember it is your right to challenge anybody suspected to be involved in unwholesome activities around you. Be security conscious. This message is from the Directorate of State Security. And that's NTA Network News. We thank you for